This is one of those moments for me that can be a little awkward because it involves NBC. Daniel Kaplan, writing for awfulannouncing.com, had an item explaining that in the pending appeal of that jury verdict last year against the NFL in the Sunday ticket case, and I'll defer to the story that we posted. The background is out there. Basically, the NFL put its thumb on the scale, allegedly, or as accepted by the jury, actually, driving up the price of Sunday ticket to protect the CBS and Fox over-the-air broadcast packages. That resulted in a $4.7 billion verdict that would have been trebled if it had been upheld. The judge threw out the damages, but did not throw out the finding that the NFL had violated the antitrust laws by requiring DirecTV and now YouTube TV and YouTube generally to charge a high enough price that a certain number of consumers will be inclined to just watch the games that are available to them on their local Fox and CBS channels. So that appeal is working its way through the federal court system, U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. All broadcast partners submitted what's called a friend of the court brief. There's a Latin term, amicus curiae, friend of the court. Basically, somebody who has no direct stake in the matter chiming in. Now, often the party has an indirect stake in the matter. You're not really being a friend of the court. You're pretending to be a friend of the court because you're a friend of one of the litigants, or you're a friend of one of the issues that's being resolved, and you want that issue to be resolved a certain way. And in this case, the networks are far more likely operating as friends of the league than friends of the court. All of them except Amazon came together. And I've asked Amazon for comment on why they didn't participate, because it's just a matter of putting their name on it and maybe sharing, an equal portion of the legal fees for putting it together, like dividing a check at the restaurant. As it stands, CBS, Fox, NBC, and Disney, which owns ESPN and ABC, they came together and they submitted this brief to support the NFL's position. I'll defer to my comments at PFT. And with all due respect to my employer of nearly 16 years and hopefully 17, 18, and potentially beyond, I just disagree with the position. This idea that the NFL has to be able to charge or to insist that its Sunday ticket partner charge a premium rate to protect the over-the-air broadcasts from CBS and Fox. At the end of the day, it's 32 different businesses coming together, collectively requiring this. And there was evidence in the Sunday ticket case. And remember last year, read the whole transcript. I think it was 20,000 pages that I paid $3,000 to get. I don't think it was 3,000 pages that I paid $20,000 to get, because I wouldn't have paid 20,000. It hurt to pay $3,000. But when the package was out for bid after DirecTV, Apple wanted to charge a really low rate. NFL wasn't interested. I think ESPN wanted to charge a low rate. NFL wasn't interested. The NFL is trying to preserve the money it gets from CBS and Fox and also maximize the money it gets for the out-of-market package. And one of the arguments that commonly gets made in the legal setting, here's the really bad stuff that'll happen if we don't win. If our position doesn't prevail, it'll be chaos. And that's kind of what the NFL and the networks are arguing, that it won't work if a system is put in place where all of the games are available to all consumers at an affordable price. And one model that has been suggested would consist of, you got a game on Fox, you got a game on CBS, you got a game on USA Network, you got a game on TNT, you got a game on FS1, you got a game on ESPN, you got a game on NBC, you got a game on Peacock. All the games, 1:00 Eastern on every given Sunday, would be available without having to pay this exorbitant rate. And you could pick and choose what you want to pay for. If it's a streaming service that you don't have and you know that your favorite team is playing that weekend, do the 7-day free trial and then remember to cut the cord before the 7 days are up. There's different ways to get this without paying that massive rate for the entirety of the package. That's the thing that's always bothered me. They market this as, hey, if you're a Saints fan living in Pittsburgh and you want to see the Saints game, get Sunday ticket. Okay. Why do I gotta pay for a package that gives me the games of all the teams I don't care about? I just want to watch the Saints games. And I only want to watch the Saints games on the weeks that the Saints aren't on Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, or otherwise on my free over-the-air broadcast in my local market. The mere fact that they sell it that way, but they never let you buy it that way, that's always bothered me. It's always bothered me. I remember when I became a Sunday ticket consumer back in 1997. I became aware of it in 1994, and it was one of those, man, one of these days when things settle down, I'm going to get that. I'm going to be able to watch all the Vikings games. That's all I wanted to watch. So I was paying extra for something I didn't want, didn't need. And now I would use it like, hey, I get to watch this game instead of the game that's on TV. But they market it as, and fans buy it as, I want to watch this team. The game's not on in my local market on one of the free channels. I want to watch it. And you got to pay through the nose to have the whole package. So my point is this. They'd like to say, and the specific argument is, well, the networks would never share their feeds under an arrangement where all the games are available on various different platforms, that CBS would never give feeds to NBC and Fox would never give feeds to ESPN. You know what I say to that? If the NFL tells them this is how it's going to be, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. So I always get a little suspicious when someone tries to tell me how horrible the world will be if their position doesn't prevail. It'll be chaos. It'll destroy the ecosystem. But the ecosystem will be fine because the product is so strong, it will work out. And if it works out in a way that the NFL makes less money, God forbid that's the case. Well, okay, you've had a system in place for 30 plus years that violates the antitrust laws and has allowed you to make a significant profit. What's wrong with saying you're going to make less money while complying with the antitrust laws? I mean, if businesses operating in this country decided we're going to ignore any and all laws that might restrict our ability to maximize our profits, yeah, they're going to make more money. They're going to make more money. And the reality is the NFL for 30 plus years has made more money than it should have made by violating the antitrust laws. I'm basing that on the jury verdict. And I know they're challenging the jury verdict, but I read that whole transcript last year. And it was clear to me that the NFL was using its collective power, 32 teams coming together, requiring the Sunday ticket provider to charge more to protect the CBS and Fox packages. Textbook antitrust violation. And hey, if chaos is caused by an injunction that would force the NFL to stop doing it, because that's one of the things that the plaintiffs are trying to get, if that's what happens, it's for the NFL to clean up its chaos, just like it's for the colleges to clean up their chaos coming from the implosion of their corrupt system of refusing to let players make any money for decades. Oh, Congress, please save us. Baloney. Save yourself. The NFL will save itself. The NFL will be fine. And you know what will probably happen? Some of the greatest innovations for the NFL in recent years have come from some complication that they had to react to. The draft became what it is now because Radio City Music Hall wasn't available for 2015. There was an Easter spectacular, and they wouldn't move it to accommodate the NFL's desire to have the draft there. So the NFL said, fine. Oh, well, what are we going to do? Let's go to Chicago. We got no other choice. Oh, look at this. We've discovered plutonium by accident. I guarantee you, if the NFL is forced to disband Sunday Ticket, if the NFL is required to make all these games available at an affordable rate to all consumers, regardless of what market they're in, the NFL will find a way to make as much or more money. Remember how they hated gambling until they realized how much money they could make from it? And they were against the Supreme Court case that allowed every state in the union to adopt a sports betting program. And they hated it, and they scratched and they clawed and they resisted. And hey, you know what? This is pretty good. We're making a lot of money off of this gambling stuff. So I think they'll be fine either way. And I apologize if speaking the truth gets me in trouble with my with my corporate overlords, but and hey, for all I don't know. They never tell me anything, but I suspect that this is just a situation where CBS and Fox were bound to make the argument because they're the companies most directly affected by this. I suspect Disney and NBC got, a little nudge. Be a good partner. Which, if that's true, and again, I have no idea, it is glaring that Amazon didn't join in this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.